You know, what happens when the thing you love, your dream, turns into a total nightmare? Well, today, we're going to get into the story of a teenager who built this incredible business from his hobby, only to find himself right on the edge of losing it all, including himself. This is more than just a success story, folks. It's a real-world look at the true cost of ambition.
$300,000. Just let that number sit for a second. For a 22-year-old, that's life-changing money, right? It's the kind of number most of us just dream about. But for Jared Ebersol, it wasn't a jackpot. It was the price tag on his own freedom. And to really get why he would walk away from a company he built from scratch, we have to look past the dollar signs.
Because here's the deal. The real cost of building something you're passionate about, it's usually not about the money. It's paid for in sleepless nights, in moments you can't get back, and sometimes, it costs you a piece of yourself. So let's get into the real story behind that big number.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to follow Jared's journey from just a kid with a cool idea to a college student running a $500,000 company from his dorm room. We'll see him hit absolute rock bottom and then find this totally unexpected way out, only to come back stronger with a whole new mission. It's a story of ambition, burnout, and ultimately rebirth.
All right, so every big story has to start somewhere. And this one doesn't start in some fancy office or boardroom. Nope, it starts in a teenager's bedroom with a simple want for something he just couldn't have.
So, picture this. A young Jared Ebersol sees an electric skateboard, and he's just got to have it. You know the feeling. The only problem? A $1,600 price tag. I mean, for a teenager, that might as well be $1 million. So what does he do? He does what any future entrepreneur would do. He decides, fine, I'll just build it myself.
He scraped together $800 of his own money and started this 6-month-long project of trial and, well, a whole lot of error. We're talking about a battery literally exploding. But he didn't give up. He just kept at it, and eventually, through sheer grit, he had a working board.
And here's the crazy part. He wasn't trying to start a business. He was just a kid who was proud of what he made, so he posted it in an online forum to share with other people who were into it. But the internet, it had other ideas. Pretty soon, his inbox was just flooded with people asking to buy one. In 2017, he made his first official sale, and just like that, without even meaning to, Build Kitboards was born.
So it goes from a high school hobby to a college side hustle, and the whole thing was growing faster than Jared could ever predicted. By the time he started at Long Island University in 2020, calling it a side hustle didn't really cut it anymore. He was basically a full-time student and a full-time CEO all at once.
And I mean, the numbers here are just wild. His freshman year, the company brings in $300,000. By his sophomore year, it's over $500,000. Now remember, this isn't some seasoned exec we're talking about. This is a kid trying to pass his midterms while running a business that's already bigger than most people's. And all that success had its perks. Jared was able to pay for his entire college education out of pocket with the profits. He graduated completely debt-free. From the outside, it looked like he had cracked the code. He was the poster child for young entrepreneurs. But as we're about to find out, looks can be very deceiving.
Right. So behind that curtain of financial success, a totally different story was playing out. The dream was slowly but surely becoming a prison, and the price he was paying for all that ambition was way higher than he ever could have guessed.
Over 100 hours a week. Just let that sink in. That's more than 2 full-time jobs, and that's on top of a full college course load. I mean, there's no time for anything. No friends, no hobbies, barely any sleep. It was just work, endlessly.
The weight of that schedule was just crushing, and it had a huge personal cost. In his own words, he said, "I had very few friends in college. I would literally go to class and not really talk to anybody. That typical college experience that everyone talks about, it was a world away for him."
So, what did all that success, all that money really add up to? A single gut-wrenching sentence. I hated my college experience. All the money in the world, and it couldn't buy back his happiness.
You can only burn the candle at both ends for so long before you get completely burned out. All the pressure, the loneliness, the nonstop work, it all just came crashing down. The dream had become a prison, and he was trapped.
That fire, that passion that started the whole thing, it was just gone. All that was left was ashes. He was completely burnt out, totally exhausted, and just ready to walk away from everything. He was about to shut down the business he'd poured his entire life into.
And it was more than just being physically tired. The passion was gone, and it was replaced by this feeling of emptiness. He put it this way, It was giving me no purpose. I hit this wall, mentally. He was completely lost. He had no idea how to get back.
And then, just when it seemed like it was all over, a lifeline appeared. And it came from the absolute last place you'd ever expect, his next-door neighbor at the company's warehouse. So his neighbor, who happened to be an investor, saw two things: the huge potential in the business and the immense pain Jared was in. In 2022, he makes an offer that changes everything: $300,000 for a majority stake in the company. For Jared, this was so much more than a business deal. It was an escape hatch. It was finally a chance to breathe.
But that is not where Jared's story ends. Not even close. It was actually a new beginning. He took those hard-earned lessons, got a new perspective, and co-founded a new company, Lectec. And it brings him right back to his roots, helping students build their own electric skateboards. But this time, he's doing things very, very differently.
Look, the hours are still long, but the weight on his shoulders is so much lighter. And the single biggest change? He's not a one-man army anymore. He's got a co-founder and a team. He built a support system from day one to make sure he never has to face that kind of storm alone again. So what's the secret sauce for sustainable success? Well, according to Jared, it's pretty simple. It's the ability to step away, to withdraw yourself from the business for a little bit. When you have a team you can trust, it lets you create space, recharge, and come back even stronger. That's a lesson we can all learn from.
Jared's whole journey taught him a really hard truth about a very popular saying. You know the one: if you do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. Well, he says that idea is, and this is a direct quote, the most bullshit thing ever. His version? Find what you love, and you're going to work so hard for that.
So, what can we really take away from Jared's story? I think it boils down to three things. First, passion is what gets you started, but relentless hard work is what keeps you going. Second, you can't do it alone. You just can't. Build a team, find a mentor, lean on people. And finally, you have to know your breaking point. Stepping away isn't failure, it's strategy.
Jared's journey really makes you ask yourself a tough question, doesn't it? What's the difference between working hard and working yourself into the ground? Where is that line? It's a question we all kind of need to answer for ourselves before we start chasing our own dreams.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you found Jared's story as powerful as we did, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories about entrepreneurs who are figuring out what success actually means.